Okay, here we are once again, and this time we're going through the introduction to data gathering from Korp. So let's get started. And first we will look into what Korp actually is and what I mean by Korp. So Korp is this web service thing from the Language Bank of Finland. So it provides this neat API to download different kind of texts and all things for NLP basically. And in this URL there is documentation about how to use their API to extract different kind of texts. And I have gone through this, and I was interested in the Suomi 24, the Finnish chat forum data, and I went through this, how to make the requests to the API so that you can get some results. And here is some examples that they have provided. So these are quite neat as you start building the right kind of requests. But let's now go to the notebook. I will probably provide this link somewhere in the GitHub repo or somewhere so that you can also introduce yourself to this one if you want. So let's restart the whole thing. Let's go to this folder that we had and let's start a command prompt here like so, and then activate our environment and then launch the Jupyter notebook. And here I have this Korp extractor notebook that we will be using to download some data. And in the beginning we have some basic imports. Hopefully these all work. So Shift Enter to execute. Okay, that seemed to work. And now let's go through the notebook. So here we need two arguments for this API. So we need a word or substring to search for. So these are something that we want in the messages to be contained, or in the messages, some words or substrings, anything basically. So given a substring like mon, it would like give you maybe like synthesis with Monday or something like that. So if I give a substring like talo, it will provide texts involving words like taloudellinen or talous, which is economy in Finland. So for this one I want to give substring apple, so omena, and here for another argument we're going to give the amount of answers that we want to get. So the amount of messages that we want to be returned from the API. And for that argument we're going to give 100. Okay. And as we saw how the URL here should be constructed, I have made this somewhat template, or that takes in the arguments that we just gave, these. So let's run that. Oh, we didn't run that, so let's run that, and then this. Now it works. And here we construct the URL out of the dictionary here. So it basically just looks in the dictionary, it concatenates these if with the this sign in between, if it is not the last item in the dictionary. So for the last item it won't include this mark at the end. So let's run that and let's actually see what kind of URL we have. So this is what we get out, and it is like in the examples. So it should be now in the correct form to be able to make the request. So, and here you can delete cells by pressing first escape button and then 2 times D. So, and that deletes a cell. That's what I did there. And here we send the request to the API, and then we extract the data from the JSON. So let's run that. That should be quite fast. Now it's ready. So let's now look into the data what we have. Okay, so this is the JSON that we got from the API. And here's a bunch of weird looking JSON. So it's basically has divided these two words. And it has also given the lemma, so the like basic forms of the word and position, I guess, in the sentence or in the text, and all kind of metadata about the texts. But let's close that. And out of that data, we only want to include this quick part. So, and then we will normalize the JSON. So we flatten the structure. So let's run this and see again what kind of data we have after this. And now we have this nice tabular looking data. But we still need to process this some more. Here we see that we have only one word per row, but we want this in the form of one message per row. So let's look further how we process this. So first let's take out some unnecessary columns, so we just filter the data frame. And let's look how it looks. So now we have only these columns. And this is probably unnecessary for now. And well, I had earlier already this checking here. And okay, here we fill the empty words if there are some with underscore, underscore, empty, underscore, underscore. And here we do this operation that we group by the texts by the sentence ID, and then we apply join to it. So we get one message per row after this operation. So let's run that and see how it changes the data structure. So now here we in the word column we have the whole text split by dash. let's check only one text. So here's one message from the forum. So that kind of messages now we have gotten from the API. And here we tokenize the data. So we split each, in that message cell, we split each word to these tokens. So basically, first we had one word per row, then we made it one message per row, but now within that one row we want to have this list of words or list of tokens, as we call these entities in NLP, and this is for future processing. So let's run this now, and we will probably not have all the packages from NLTK, so then I will show how to download packages with NLTK, but let's see. Okay, so it seems that I already have this this regex tokenizer downloaded from the NLTK, but it might be that if you have clean install of NLTK after the conda, you might not have this. So I will now show how to download packages with NLTK. So let's go back to our command prompt and press Ctrl+C to shut down the current Jupyter instance. And you can press 1 for like clean shutdown, but you can force it with just pressing Ctrl+C. It sometimes can break stuff, but we didn't have anything really important going on, so that's okay. So in this environment that we have now the basic NLTK library installed, we can go to the Python interpreter, and then in here we want to import NLTK. That's quite weird. We should have NLTK here installed. Let's go back into the requirements file, that whether we have NLTK here. Okay, it should be there. This is weird. Let's test IPython. Okay, IPython seems to work. So there was something going on with the regular Python interpreter. So now we can use the nltk.download function to download specific packages for NLTK. So press enter here. Okay, it really seems that we don't have the NLTK, but it should be there, trust me. So, okay, then just pip install NLTK. And it says requirements satisfied. This is like the usual. Okay, in this situation I want to see, has the documentation changed? So we get now some debugging action going on. Okay, so we used the right function. It hasn't changed, and it should be the same. And as you saw, once I ran this in the Jupyter notebook, we were able to import the NLTK. And it is installed. But let's check again that I didn't have any typos. Okay, I probably had some typo in there. Is that true? Yeah. I wrote NTLK. But for some reason this didn't work. But let's now test here. Okay, now it works. So there you see some debugging, how it usually goes. Like you have some typo or error, and then you might check the documentation and things like that, but eventually you will find it out. That's what you just have to do. So out of these packages, I think that for the regex tokenizer to work, we need this punkt module. So if you don't have that yet, go here and download this one by pressing here download. I have also some other packages downloaded. But once you have downloaded those, go back to the Jupyter Notebook instance. Back to this Korp extractor. Then just run through all the cells, and we were here. So we now, by downloading the punkt package, we can run this, and here we tokenize the data, and let's see how it looks. So here we have the tokenize. So it basically makes a list out of the words in the messages. And then I had some unnecessary column in there, so this removed it. And here I had some print statements, but those are now not necessary. And then finally we save the data we got from the API as a CSV. So let's now look into that. So we saved it here to this one. And here we have the texts tokenized. We still need to do some further processing for this, but this shows the basics how I have downloaded and transformed the data from the API. And as you can see, I have downloaded a bunch of other files, but I will provide you with a file that has all the necessary data for this tutorial. So you might want to test this out, but it's not necessary. I will provide you the data. And in the next part we will go through how we can then union these all CSV files and do the final pre-processing. So that was the data gathering part from Korp, and see you in the next section.